Alright guys, they're free here. We got the Savage. I've run it a few times. Stumbled into a few more problems with it. I'm going to show you basically the truck's ready to run right now. I'm just going to show you what I've done. Some of the things that are potential weak spots that I think I've addressed, and I think the truck's going to be pretty solid from here on out. However, I do not believe it's going to be able to handle 6 cells. I've run the truck 3 times, 4 times on 3 cells, just one battery, 3 cells, 11.1 volt, and I managed to bend the motor mount pretty much out of shape, and in turn ruined my pinion gear. I'll show you that. Now, should have had it out. So, here is, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this or not in the camera, but there is my old pinion gear. As the motor mount bent, I noticed a little more chattering. I didn't really know what it was, and then pretty soon it was apparent that, alright, it's not just chattering, it's major damage to this. I'm lucky I didn't ruin my spur gear, which is hardened steel, and it was $30 for that. So this is now garbage. Let's go inside the truck. Let's look and see what we got here going on. I have 4 sets of tires. I had these tires given to me. They came off a Revo. I believe a Revo Nitro, as well as this body. I had that given to me too. Throw that body on there just to bash. You know, I have another clear body that I bought that is unpainted. Tango Illusion body that I'll be painting up in the springtime when the weather gets a little nicer. So you might see some things here that you're like, what the hell? Yeah, that's where I'm at too. Okay, the first thing I'll talk about is the gear, what I found with the mounting. You can see that motor mount plate right there. Basically it's an L design motor mount. So the bottom mounts to the chassis, and then the front plate mounts to your motor itself. What had happened was, with the amount of torque, it started to bend the motor up and lift up, and that would mess up my gear mesh. So what I had to do is get a hose clamp, some soft foam, and just hold down the back side of the motor to keep it flat. I'll probably cut this off and make it a little shorter, and so it's not so, you know, sticking out, whatever, looks terrible. But just the motor plate itself is not strong enough to hold the motor, and that's just 3 cells. It's not 4 cells, it's not 5 cells, or even 6 cells, which this truck, you know, the motor and speed controller is supposed to handle. So let's go on. I made, just out of Lexan, just this plate, as you can see, and all my electronics are down there. I mounted the speed controller here to double-sided tape right on the top of the plate, as well as my switch. I had to, I don't know if I went into this before, I had to change this spur gear to a 43 tooth from a Savage Flux, and I had to change an inside gear, idler gear assembly to a solid gear to give me my forward and reverse, which now I have, and it works perfectly fine. Other than that, just that one issue with the motor mount, which I pretty much figured it was going to happen, because when I mounted the motor, I could actually lift the motor up and down and it felt loose. It didn't feel real strong. And I thought, wow, that's going to be a lot of power. Is that going to be able to hold steady and hold in place? And it didn't. And you know, this is going to help hold that right down into the groove of the motor mount. The motor mount actually, where the motor sits in, is U-shaped, like a moon, half circle. So pulling that down and holding it secure is going to eliminate any kind of lifting of the motor with all that torque. I probably won't run this truck on 6 cells because I run it on a single 3-cell battery, and it does wheelies. It goes probably 35, which isn't too bad for this size truck. If I bumped it up to 4 cells, that's all you would need. I don't think you could even drive it with 6 cells. It would just be uncontrollable. It would be too fast, too much power. It's just too much for this type of application. But even with the single 3-cell battery, I'm going to show a little running video of that sometime. Everything else seems to be working well. I've jumped the truck real high. I've rolled it, crashed it, beat up on it on the tar. I'm sorry I didn't get any videos of that because I was just testing it to see how it's going to work. I didn't want to jump it and then come back in the house and have to adjust the steering trim. I didn't want to have to jump it and then adjust this or that. That's not quite in tune yet. So I just wanted to wait and get the bugs worked out of it